There's a strange kind of frustration that doesn't come from failure. It comes from knowing, quietly, privately, that you could be more than this. Not in an arrogant way, not in a motivational poster way, but in a deeply personal way. You can see the version of yourself that thinks clearly, moves decisively, builds something real. And yet, day after day, that version stays hypothetical. What makes this difficult isn't lack of intelligence, it isn't lack of ambition, it isn't even lack of desire. It's the gap between awareness and action. Most people don't talk about this honestly. They label it as laziness, procrastination, or lack of discipline. But those words don't explain what's actually happening. Because if you look closely, you're not doing nothing. You're thinking, planning, imagining, consuming information, refining ideas in your head. From the outside, it looks like stagnation. From the inside, it feels like preparation. And that's the trap. Your mind has learned how to simulate progress without requiring movement. You wake up with intention, not dramatic intention, just a quiet sense that today should be different, that you'll start small, that you'll finally move in the direction you've been thinking about for so long. And then, nothing dramatic happens. You check one thing, then another. You tell yourself you're warming up, that you'll begin once you feel more focused. Hours pass without resistance, which makes it even harder to notice what you're doing. By the time you realize the day is gone, the energy is gone with it. And at night, the awareness returns. That subtle disappointment, not loud, not emotional, just heavy. And the worst part isn't that you didn't act. It's that you don't understand why this keeps happening. Here's what's actually going on. You are living with two competing identities at the same time. One version of you is future-oriented. It sees possibility. It thinks in trajectories. It imagines outcomes. The other version of you is protective. It wants stability, predictability, low emotional risk. And that second version isn't your enemy. It's not weakness. It's not sabotage. It's a survival mechanism that has outgrown its usefulness. Your brain isn't optimized for long-term fulfillment. It's optimized for short-term safety. So whenever you move towards something uncertain, something that requires effort, exposure, or sustained focus, your nervous system interprets that as risk. Not logical risk, psychological risk, risk of failure, risk of wasted effort, risk of discovering that the version of you in your head doesn't translate cleanly into reality. So your mind does what it's learned to do very well. It delays, not aggressively, not consciously, but strategically. It offers you small comforts, easy stimulation, mental noise. And every time you accept that offer, something subtle happens. Your brain learns that avoidance works. Not in the long term, but long term doesn't matter to your nervous system. What matters is relief. So the pattern deepens. And over time, the problem stops being productivity. It becomes identity. You don't just delay the work, you start doubting the kind of person you are. And this is where people get stuck for years, because they try to fix the surface behavior without addressing the deeper issue. They chase motivation, they look for hacks, they wait for confidence. But confidence doesn't appear before action, it forms after repeated proof. And motivation is unreliable because it's emotional, it spikes and disappears. The real issue is this. You haven't learned how to act consciously. Most of your habits were formed passively. Your reactions were trained, not chosen. Your personality wasn't designed, it accumulated. And because of that, you're trying to build a future self using unconscious systems. That never works. Real change begins when you start doing ordinary things with awareness, not forcing yourself, not shaming yourself, observing yourself, noticing how quickly your mind escapes discomfort, noticing the exact moment resistance appears, noticing the stories you tell yourself to justify delay. That moment, right before avoidance, is where transformation actually happens. Because once you see it clearly, you gain something most people never develop: choice. You begin to understand that personality is not fixed. It's a pattern of repeated decisions, and patterns can be interrupted. This is the part people underestimate. You don't rebuild yourself through intensity. You rebuild yourself through deliberate repetition. By choosing to act while awareness is present, even briefly. You don't need to overhaul your life. That urge usually comes from impatience or perfectionism. And perfectionism is just fear with better vocabulary. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need clarity. You need to start acting before alignment and let alignment form through action. The first step should feel almost underwhelming because its purpose isn't progress, it's identity signaling. When you sit down and do the thing, even briefly, despite resistance, you send your brain a new message: this matters. And when that message repeats, your self-image begins to shift, not overnight, not dramatically, but steadily. This is how discipline is actually built, not through force, through proof. Every conscious action becomes evidence. Evidence changes self-perception. Self-perception changes behavior. That's the loop. And yes, it will feel uncomfortable at first. Your mind will resist. It will bargain. It will tell you to start later, better, cleaner. Ignore the content of the thought. Pay attention to the pattern. The discomfort isn't danger. It's unfamiliarity. And unfamiliarity fades faster than you expect when you stop running from it. Another thing you have to understand is this: your environment is shaping you more than your willpower ever could. If distraction is available, it will be used. If friction exists, it will be avoided. This isn't moral failure, it's behavioral design. So instead of demanding more self-control, reduce the need for it. Design your space so focus is the default. Remove unnecessary decisions. Make the productive action easier than the distracting one. That alone changes behavior more than motivation ever will. And one more thing, something most people don't want to hear. Consuming insight feels productive, but it often replaces action. Understanding without execution becomes a form of self-deception. You don't need more explanations. You already know what to do. What you're missing isn't information, it's implementation under resistance. And yes, the early results will be imperfect. They're supposed to be. Quality is not the entry requirement. Consistency is. You're not trying to prove anything yet. You're training yourself to show up. There will be days you fall back. That doesn't erase progress. What matters is not whether you slip, but whether you return. Self-attack only reinforces avoidance. Self-awareness restores momentum. Talk to yourself like someone you're responsible for, not someone you're punishing. And remember this: you are not lazy. That's a description of behavior, not identity. You're someone who hasn't yet learned how to move through discomfort consciously, and that skill can be built. Once you understand that, everything changes. Because ambition stops feeling painful, action stops feeling personal, and growth stops feeling random. You stop waiting for a different mood and start becoming a different person, quietly, deliberately, one conscious decision at a time. The version of you that acts isn't out of reach, it's built slowly by choosing awareness over escape. And the moment you begin doing that, momentum starts working with you instead of against you. Not someday, not when you feel ready, now.